The webinar is being streamed live. Okay, so it's 8:01 in Dubai and we are perfectly fine. Just let me mute it. Let me share it on X as well. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. Let me cancel X. Perfect. Okay, so namaste everybody and welcome to this session. And I hope you all are able to hear me loud and clear. Let me unmute myself and see if I am audible on
Okay, so
YouTube as
namaste
well.
everybody.
Okay, so YouTube also is working fine. The whole objective is that, a lot of people, might not be that technical conscious. And YouTube link I also shared on my Twitter time zone. Okay, so get it from there. Om Namah Shivaya. Uh, okay, so now let me focus, please. No raising of hand and because I will be now focused on the webinar. Okay, so that's why you are here, right? So if you are going to ask questions, etc., I'm not going to be able to focus on that. Okay. Okay. Just last question. You are able to see the screen, so I can. You are able to see the screen. You are able to hear me. Just send me on the message. Okay. ठीक है. ठीक है. ठीक है. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm not going to see any messages, so please don't put messages and comments because at least I wouldn't be able to see. So if it is among yourself, I don't know what would be your logic to send it, but okay. So we are going to make very crisp and short one. Namaste, welcome everybody who has joined. Let us start initially as per my parampara to start with some Guru mantras. We'll do a simple mantra called Om Gurave Nama, which is 12 times, and then we'll start with the slide. So we'll say Om 3 times and then simple mantra Om Gurave Nama 12 times. I'm a little feverish and I'm having a bad cold after constant traveling to US, then coming back again, traveling to Mumbai, Varanasi. So excuse me if my sound is not very lively like I am always, uh, but I hope it is bearable. Okay, chalo. Om, 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 Gurave Namah. Om 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 Gurave Vishnu. So, namaste everybody, and thank you for your time. And today we are going to do some sort of Vedic planning. This was planned a little earlier, but for some reason, because of traveling and all, I had to delay it. And we are going to talk about our Vedic New Year, which is Vikram Samvat 2082, which has just started few weeks back. Okay, so we are not too off the target, and we are going to talk about the what, why, how, and obviously some important countries and some generic predictions, what I feel is going to pan out. And this is going to be more in terms of geopolitics, because this is going to be more about the kings, right? This is being going to be more about the countries, so to say. So we are going to be not about individuals. If an individual is a king, yes, it will impact also, because the king and the country's destiny is in a way intertwined, right? So if a Donald Trump is going to come to US, then obviously there is a radical shift in the way US is, right? If a Narendra Modi is going to be a third time PM in Bharat, there is going to be a great shift, right? So, in that sense, it is going to be a big focus. So, again, I'm going to repeat that this is going to be about learning, and this is not about your horoscopes and all. So, if you are looking at your horoscopes, readings, or learning official courses, etc., then I've just shared the help desk number and the website where everything is there. So please don't prompt me that, Kartik ji, this is my birth chart and I'm going through a very bad dasha, so on and so forth. And there is no point raising hands and all, because, you are just disturbing. Okay. Thank you. What are we here for? We are going to understand what is the Vedic New Year. Okay. And its logic. As you know, and if you have been following me for some time, I always focus on logic. Don't tell me what to do, tell me why to do. Is the mindset with which I have learned Jyotish. And for a long time, I was away, or I was not attracted to Jyotish, because I thought that probably there is no logic to it. Till the time I also started learning it from a very, very logical parampara, logical guru. And that's what gave me the impetus that, hey, if I learn this knowledge, I can probably share it in a very, very logical manner. This knowledge can be applicable, and to a large extent, in a very ethical manner. And from there, I got my three golden words: logical, applicable, ethical. And number three is associated also with Jupiter, those who understand a bit of Vedic numerology, and Guru happens to be in my Lagna, and this just happened by chance. Okay, and but I do resonate with that. That's why I used it, and we are going to focus obviously from the logic perspective, how to draw. Now this is very, very important. Don't tell me, don't feed me. Show me how to hunt. It's as simple as that, right? So as somebody who is at a certain level after learning for so long, I feel it is my duty also to share some insights and share some secrets in terms of how are you supposed to draw it, how are you supposed to analyze the chart, and then obviously you all will take up some serious Jyotish. A lot of you are my students, a lot of you have been associated with me in some way or another, and I'm sure you would take up Jyotish in some way, and sort of learn the beautiful knowledge, and get the blessings of Vedavyasa, so to say. How to plan application of knowledge. This is most important point, right? Because there is no point learning. There's no point on knowing the problem. Most of the times we know the problem. We want a remedy. We want a solution. Okay. So that is very important. And we are going to focus on the predictions and few of the remedies if I can, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, who is it, what are we not here for? Okay, those who are obsessed with your own horoscope. So it is very clear there is two things. If you are thinking that I'm going to do your horoscope, or even if you write 50 please or 30 thank yous or something, that's not going to happen, because here I am on a very limited time and I'm not going to do your horoscope. So if you are for that, you can leave because, I'm very sorry, I won't be able to help you. Okay. Secondly, this is going to be in English, for everybody else to understand. So if you are going to again write, ke sir, Hindi mein bolo, that's also not going to happen because this is for a pan audience, and English in a way being a universal language even for Indians, they understand at least टूटा फूटा तो समझ ही लेते हैं, so we are going to focus on Hindi. This is not a consultation webinar. I told you, if you aren't open-minded to learning, okay, or listening to an alternative view. So that there's some people, come just to judge or, just to, since morning they haven't got anybody to troll. Okay, so they see, okay, chalo, let me get into this webinar and just keep trolling. That's not going to happen as well. So if you're not open to learning, if you're not open to sort of have a contrary view, in case you don't believe in Jyotish, don't believe in astrology, I'm talking to those people, then, frankly speaking, it's better, you know, you push off. And if you're open-minded, then please stay back. I ensure you'll get a lot of value for your time. Okay. Also, if you are somebody who knows everything, right? There are some people, typical Guru Atmakaraka syndrome, who know everything, right? What are you going to teach? Oh, I know everything. Oh, I have a bigger guru. I have a better guru. Oh, I have done this. I'm a gold medalist. I'm a Bhaskaracharya. I'm a Vedvyasa reborn for that matter. Then frankly speaking, I don't know more than you, and even you can leave the webinar. Yeah. So now I have set the expectations right. This is a Mesh Lagna talking. This is how I am, just not to waste your time and my time. Okay. For everything else, there is MasterCard and there is my help desk number. Okay. Now, the logic to it, I always wanted to know that, hey, listen, why is this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada our Vedic New Year? Why do we always have to have a contrary view? Why can't we just take 1st of January as a new year and, start planning like everybody does? Then I came to know the logic part of it, that the Vedic New Year does not start from January 1, and there was a very strong logic to it. Okay. Chaitra Shukla Pratipada was the day Mother Earth was created as per Vishnu Purana. So as per Vishnu Purana, so we have a very strong reference in terms of why we take Chaitra Shukla Pratipada as our Vedic New Year, the first day of Chaitra Purnima, Chaitra Navratri, sorry, right? And that was the day when Brahma created the current Yuga, which is Kali Yuga. Huh? After Pralaya. Pralaya basically means like it has to happen in the Gandanta, right? And then those of you who know a little bit of Jyotish would know that Gandanta always happens between fire and earth, or a fire, Agni and Jala, right? So if this is Aries and this is Meena, then technically at this axis, the Pralaya can happen. Okay. There is also Pralaya between this axis. And then there can be also Pralaya between this axis. Okay. So there are three possibilities which is possible. Okay. Technically Meena, basically Jala and Agni Rashi, whenever they are combining at the edge. So this was a time when the old Sansara, was dissolved, and Brahma got a new, he was made a project manager that, hey, listen, you need to recreate the whole world. So everything was dissolved, and then the Pralaya came, the whole world was submerged, and then there was a new creation which had to happen, right? And technically we say that the whole creation process started from Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. And after Pralaya. So Pralaya happens when Sun, Moon are in Pisces. So if you look at the other charts, and in every chart we'll see Sun and Moon will be in Pisces. Okay. So it is like an eclipse. And then from that eclipse, in a way, the Kali Yuga was created after the Pralaya. Right? Chaitya Amanta Shukra Chakra is the exact time when the Amavasya ended, and Sri Ram was born on Chaitra Navami. So exact at the end of Amavasya, which is the new moon, right? and the start of Pratipada. Shukla Paksha, the bright half, because the dark half is closed and the bright half has just started. So just when this Pratipada starts is when we make the New Year chart, just at the start and at the end of this Amavasya. Okay, so Amavasya is K15, right? Krishna Paksha 15th Tithi. And Shukla Paksha first Tithi, when it starts, is when we make the chart. And this was the Pralaya. Clear? So you need to know the logic, right? And if you are somebody who is like me, then once you know the logic, then you get very interested. So for me also, Jyotish, in my initial years, it was all about Shani's kha jayega, Rahu pi jayega. And, all those things I used to hear. And I used to think that, hey, why can't this guys talk a very rational, logical, palatable language? And then when I got that language is when, the spark started. So what are we supposed to do, right? A Raj Jyotisha, okay, is supposed to make this chart for the king. So hopefully few of you will end up becoming a Raj Jyotishi. Who is Raj Jyotishi? Who has got the stars or who has got the prarabdha of past life to basically talk to the kings, ministers, the prime ministers, the royalties, and he would be called for those things. And in a way, a Raj Jyotishi is also a very strategic guy, because he also has an ability to, in a way, shape the geopolitics, because top people would listen to him. So in a subtle way, he can make an impact. And if he is somebody who is a nationalist or somebody who loves his country a lot, he can be a very, very good ambassador for his own country. And he can help a lot of policies to be made the right way based on nation's chart, based on the swearing in chart, based on many other things. He can help avert a lot of big problems also, provided if the king is ready to listen, right? So, and guide accordingly on various aspects, personal and professional. Why am I saying, the king or whoever is at the helm of affair? He can be prime minister, he can be a president, he can be council of ministers, so on and so forth. Because this is purely about nation, right? For individuals, there is something called as Tithi Pravesh, right? So if you are born on a certain day, in our Vedic scriptures, we don't go by that date. So if I'm born on, let's say, 3rd of May, I don't celebrate 3rd of May as my birthday. This year my Tithi Pravesh would be on 1st of May. So 1st of May is when I will do my Vedic remedies, so on and so forth. And all my Jyotishis friends, they will wish me on 1st of May. Facebook and other places, people will wish me on 3rd of May because they get the pop-up and all, right? So does this chart impact you, or is it just the king, prime minister, presidents? The answer is that, hey, it does impact you. Because if you are staying in a country where the king is going to go berserk, then, it will impact you. If you're staying in a country where the king is absolutely level-headed and he is going to take awesome decisions and the country is going to rise, it is super fantastic. Yeah. This is also called Ugadi, Yuga plus Adi. That is what is the combination, hinting towards new world order. So every year on this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, Raj Jyotishi will understand what's happening around the world. How are the other kings going to react? And based on that, they used to also make strategies on when to attack which king, or when to expect an attack from which king, or which country, so on and so forth. It's a very strategic art. I'm just teaching you a tip of iceberg, but there is a lot that can be done. Chaitra Navratri is celebrated for 9 days from this day. You must have also celebrated Ram Navami few days, and this is very important. Okay. Now, few important methods of do's and don'ts. The location of the chart must be the capital. Okay. So for example, let's say if you're doing the chart of UAE, then don't take Dubai. Even if you stay in Dubai, you have to take Abu Dhabi, right? If you stay in US, no, and then let's say you are in New York, don't take New York. You still have to take DC, Washington DC. You are in India and you stay in Ahmedabad, Delhi, Bangalore, wherever you are, you will still take Delhi and make the chart for Delhi because it is the capital that is very, very important. That shapes up the country's narrative, so to say. The tithi must be exactly at the start of Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. As I told you, you know that K15 and Shukla Paksha first Pratipada. So just at the start of Pratipada is when you need to take the tithi. We'll check in the example charts that we have done. The Lord of the day, Varesh, holds the key apart from the Lagnesh. So there are two very, very important planets which we need to focus on. The one is the Varesh, okay, which is basically the Lord of the day. But I'll tell you there is one important key over there in terms of how to. Lot of people I've seen take Varesh wrongly. Okay, and Varesha has to be based on sunrise. Okay, or shall we say next day sunrise or the sunrise which is going to happen. The concept of Samvatsara is based on the count of 60. Okay, so Jupiter, is going to transit yearly and 5 transits is going to make 60. So anyways, this is Samvatsara. The whole concept of 60 is based on also this concept. The Vedic New Year this year will be Vikram Samvat 2082. Okay. And 𝗪𝗏𝗏 is the name. Every year there are different names. Okay. And like last year it was 2081. This year it is 2082. Okay. So Varesha and Lagna Lord are can change for every country. So here is an important thing because a lot of time people can say, right, that Kartik ji, how is it different for each country? It is different for each country because many a times people might have different Lagnas rising. But in a way, it also means that countries which are very close to each other will more or less have similar charts. So what does it also say? That from a geopolitical perspective, that it is more like areas they grow together or fall together. So technically speaking, if you see, like Southeast Asia, you say, or the Schengen region, you say, or countries which are closer to each other, like Canada and US for a long time had very, very close knitted destiny, right? So that is what I'm trying to say. So geopolitics also shows, or this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada from a geopolitical perspective also shows that, hey, if countries can coexist or neighbors can coexist, then they have an ability to grow together because technically speaking, more or less 99.9% of the times they will have a similar chart. Okay. So very, very important. Now, let us dive into details and for somebody who is very new, uh, let's take this. This is a Chaitra Shukla Pratipada of 2020. Okay. And this was the time around which COVID had become a problem. Okay. It started around December 2019. But frankly speaking, the deaths and all started, around this after March. Okay. So in this chart, if you see, it is Karka Lagna. This is purely from India, I'm talking. Here you have Saturn-Mars combination in the 7th house. Now 7th house, we say is a Maraka house, right? And this particular Saturn-Mars yoga, we call it as Yama Yoga. Yama means god of death. So if we see in India's chart, Bharat's chart, Yama Yoga is very clear. But is there a saving grace? Yes, there is a saving grace because Shukra is in Kendra. Shukra technically rules our ability. It is basically Mrityunjaya Bija, right? Jum Bija is associated with Shukra. So all said and done, our mortality or we could have had much more deaths. But for some reason, because of whatever the ginger, the grandma's remedy or whatever you call it, you know, our deaths were much more less because of this Shukra being in Kendra. You get it? Another example. This is 2022 chart of USA. And at that point of time, I had made a very, very famous prediction because see, Lagnesh is Jupiter and you see here, Jupiter is also very, very important. And Jupiter is in the third house, if you see, and in MKS. So it was a very, very sad state of affair as far as US is concerned. So this Lagnesh is going to the third house in Maranakaraka. So I had said that, hey, US, people will start doubting if US is genuinely a superpower or not. Right? So this was a time around which, America withdrew from Afghanistan. This was the time when Biden used to fall off from plane or he used to forget, whom he's meeting and, all those things. He used to fall down and all those things kept happening. The way China used to speak to US, way even smaller countries used to speak to US was very, very different. Right? And so, yeah, I'm just showing it because, some naysayers might like to know. Some of you who are good students of uh, geopolitics or Jyotish would also like to know, hey, how has it worked in our past examples or past years? So I thought a couple of charts I would do it. Okay, one more chart of UK, which was of 2023, right? Where is Lagnesh going? Lagnesh is going here. Huh? And and this was the time when I had said that, hey, listen, and again, a very famous prediction. Those of you who read my ebooks back then, I used to write a lot of ebooks also for the yearly prediction. I had said specifically to this year that, UK states will become bankrupt. And, Birmingham and I think at least two states during that year specifically, during this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada chart, they filed for bankruptcy. Okay, so so this is how you think. Now let's focus on 2025, 2026. So this is Bharat's chart. Okay, and as you see, the Tithi has just become first Tithi, just 0.1 seconds, and it is Leo Lagna. Leo Lagna with Lagnesh Surya in the 8th house. Okay. Now here I want you to understand that what is the Varesh. Okay. So now see, here you have to be very careful. You have to see the day, which is Saturn. Okay. And technically speaking, you know, since the time is after sunrise, it is 1629. You add one day because you have to see the sunrise of next day. So if it is a Saturday, you pick up Sunday. So Lagnesh and Varesh both are Surya. Sometimes when both are together, it becomes quite a bit of a problem because either it can be very good or it is quite problematic. Okay, and this Surya is going into the 8th house, and this particular Rashi, Meena Rashi, let me tell you, this is associated with Bengal. And based on this, about 3-4 months back, I had said that, listen, there are two things based on Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. And when Jupiter is going to transit to Gemini, our India's Bharat's problem with Bengal or Bangladesh or Bengalis is going to, really escalate too much. And those of you who are from India or who follow geopolitics of Bharat would understand what I'm talking about. That, you know, Narendra Bhai Modi and Amit Shah needs to really take a call in terms of whether they want to just keep sharing videos on Twitter, or, whether they want to rise to the occasion and do what they are supposed to do. Okay. But the situation is going to become very grim. Roughly speaking, this is also a very, very challenging situation. This year can actually bring a lot of challenges for Bharat, right? Because it is the eighth house. Eighth house is the house of transformation. So this particular chart is telling us that, hey, listen, your country needs to transform, or they are going to really fall in a big trap. And the decision lies with Surya. It is a political decision. It is not a decision with Mangal, like an army decision, but it is a Surya decision. Okay? Very, very important. Now, for Bharat's sake, let me tell you, see, Bharat is Taurus Lagna. India's Lagna is Taurus, where there is this Jupiter. So net, with all the challenges, we will still survive. But at the same time, we can say definitely that there is a challenge. Especially the challenge is that, hey, listen, all the planets are coming over here. Okay. So, and we need to be very, very careful about this axis. This particular axis is showing that, listen, your border is going to be very, very hot. By being very hot, I mean to say Bangladesh and Pakistan. And I'm on record based on Narendra Modi's chart to say that, based on his swearing in chart, Bharat's army is going to have its boots on an enemy territory in that 5 year period, you know. So considering from 2024 to 2029, it will have. And then this chart does shows there are skirmishes and there are uh, possibility of Bharat having a challenge, or rather changing its policy, because the chart is saying that we need to change the policy from this is not an era of war to probably this is yuga of war, right? So this much for Bharat. Other people can think more about it. Saturn is very well placed. Okay, it's in Digbala. How about America? Huh? America is having this whole thing in the Lagna itself. Huh? Surya is Varesh. It is in Lagna. Okay, but we have to understand that wherever Meena Rashi is, that is the area of eclipse, so to say. That is the area of Pralaya, right? So in Bharat's chart, if we see the eighth house is the house of Pralaya, which means Bharat will need to change. Eighth house is also border, illegal infiltration, probably bringing in uniform civil code and some tough laws or some tough things. The frankly speaking, Narendra Bhai will have no chance, but he has to work on it, or let go of Bengal purely on this chart. Okay. Similarly, in America's case, we have that in Lagna itself. Pralaya is in the Lagna itself. So I would say Donald Trump has to be little careful. See, based on Donald Trump's swearing in chart, I had said that it is like an 𝗪𝗏𝗍𝗪 Yagna, right? And true to that word, he is behaving like that, right? And I'm sure you would agree that he has got two planets. Either he will hit you with Agni, which is Mangal and Surya, or he will tax you, which is Mercury in his trines. So either tariffs, or he is going to say that, okay, I'm going to take your land, or I'm going to bomb you, or this, that. These are the two policies on which he is working. But what I'm saying is he has to be little careful, because when it is in Lagna, it means that, okay, he might stretch himself too far. And his advisors will do well to tell him, Mr. President, let us not sort of, go for all our friends also. Let us pick our battles rather than us versus all. Right? Will he take the thing? Here again, you see, Jupiter is in MKS. So in trying to make America great again, uh, he needs to be little careful. Yeah, America really needs to be very careful, and there are new wars that will be opened up. I have stayed on record that he will try to close it with Ukraine, but he would like Middle East to be hot, and probably Iran. That could be a target that, guys, either you change a regime, or you are going to face the mighty American army. Okay, so this is very, very important, and this is how the chief astrologer used to, in a very, very subtle way, talk to the king and help him out in some strategic decisions. What about UK? Huh? UK has it in the 10th house. See, it is very different. All three charts. See, one is having Bharat is having Leo as a rising, huh? Whereas America has got Pisces, and Britain has got Gemini with Mangal in Lagna, and the 10th house having Pralaya, or part of the whole Jingbang, so to say. So right away we can say that first and foremost, UK would do well not to put its foot, or put its soldiers into Ukraine or with NATO. That would be the worst decision they could do, which Keith Stammer, I think, has hinted about, or he's talked about, or I don't know till what level he's serious about it. But the chart says that, hey, listen, it's not going to be a good decision. Why? Because the economy is going to go from bad to worse, especially the joblessness. I don't know, people in UK can sort of tell me which way the economy is going, but you know, because it's just started, it's a week back or something like that, couple of weeks back. You will see the implications, but it shows that the job market is going to be very, very bad, and people would do well to sort of hold on to what they have, because UK for sure is going to go through great financial problems. Why? Because see, the Lagnesh is also here, huh? And Varesh Surya is also here. So generally, when all eggs are in the same basket, it becomes a little bit problematic. You able to understand? So these are the few things which I see will happen. Now, we need to understand, whenever we are planning Vedic New Year, to understand the transits of the planet. And you can take a screenshot or something like that. It's a beautiful slide I had made, uh, about the transits and how planets transit. But there are few transits, though there are many transits which are going to happen. I'm more interested in Jupiter, Saturn, and basically Rahu's transit. Okay. So, and then this transit I have talked about a lot. If you're following me on YouTube on various shows, I have talked about this particular transit because on May 9th, Jupiter is going to transit to Gemini. Okay. And in two charts, in fact, in America's this year's chart also, I said that the third house, Jupiter is in Maranakarkasthana, right? And the natural houses of Jupiter are the houses 9 and 12. Huh? The houses of Dharma and religion. So the moment that is going to be into Maranakarkasthana, I had predicted about few months back that there is going to be huge polarization based on religion and belief. And that is majorly going to stem up from globally, mostly everywhere. Be it Islam versus Christianity, or within Islam, Sunnis versus Shias, or sectarian violence, or probably within Hindus, different castes politics and all those which can come up. But that's going to be very, very bad, the moment Jupiter is going to transit. And then that's going to also become a security risk. Right? So countries which are ready to call a spade, and address the problem in the language it has to be addressed, will still be better. Right? Countries like UAE, countries like Saudi, who don't mince their words. There is a problem, they say, yes, yes, this is a problem, and the solution is this, and we are going to do this for our country. Problem lies sometimes with the democracies. And what's later going to happen, you know, there is a backward movement or Vakri movement, and basically there is a very, very fast transit, you know, from 2025 to 2026. You see, technically from Gemini, Cancer, and then from Cancer, it is again going back to Gemini, which we call it as Vakri movement. So this particular problem, which I talked about from a geopolitical perspective, is going to be huge. Okay, so we will watch this space for more, or follow me on X if you are there on X, Twitter. There I'm quite I share there more frequently. So you can follow me there for day-to-day updates. Saturn transit, Aquarius to Pisces. Okay, and then Rahu moves from Pisces to Aquarius on June 11th. So this particular transits I'm more interested, and I'll talk about this more when I sort of, when those dates come, and then I'll be talking more on that. Important conjunctions, very, very important conjunctions is there. The six planet conjunction in Pisces, which was there. Now what I am interested is, there are many conjunctions that will happen. This Mars Ketu conjunction is what I am very, very interested in, or which I am saying is like a red flag, and it is happening around July. By the time that Jupiter would have also transited to Gemini. Jupiter is also MKS. So when Jupiter is at MKS, Jupiter is not going to try to stop the war. Jupiter generally stops the war, right? So when Jupiter becomes weak, in a way, the peace messenger becomes weak. You understand the logic part of it? So this is the time frame you have to be very, very careful of. The Iran thing, and a few other things I talked about. February, March 2026. February to March. This also period is quite fishy. There is Sun Rahu combination, Mars Rahu combination, and then there is Saturn and Sun combination. So even this particular period, be very careful about, which will be the end of this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. So 2082 will be closing also in some very, very deadly conjunctions. Okay. So what is the conclusion? Net, there is going to be political instability. Why I'm saying that? Because the Varesh in most cases is Surya. In few cases it is Saturn also, but most cases it is Surya. Assassination and death of important leader or leaders is possible. Okay. Recession and inflation, this I have talked about. That, Q3, Q4. In fact, I talked about it about 1.5 months back, just before the market crashed, where I said that, listen, I won't lie, I won't give false hope, but there will be a lot of implications initially, but the major implications of whatever is happening or whatever is going to happen in the stock market will be seen in Q3, Q4 of tariffs and everything. Yeah. Also expect major climate change and global warming. This is also something, sometimes people don't take this very, very, uh, what do you say, seriously. But this is also shows a big climate change and global warming. And then we'll see how it's going to pan out. Okay. AI is going to reach higher level. AI is really going to have a lot of advanced R&D, research, development, everything. But the worst part would be AI scams will happen also because of Rahu's transit. There are a lot of technology scams which will happen, and some of them will be very huge. Huh? Few of the tips: invest in gold. And those of you who are asking me, Kartik ji, when are the property prices going to come down? Especially people in Dubai keep asking me. I would say Q4 2025 would be a good time to invest generally in gold and specifically in properties. Q4 would be a good time because cash is trash. Focus on gold, focus on properties, but not now. Wait for another few months and you will see better deals probably, right? Iran and Middle East will be flashpoint, but I looked at UAE's chart and UAE's chart looks quite good. Huh? It is Cancer rising with Moon in Taurus in the 11th house. Okay, so with all this, like UAE is really, I sometimes jokingly say it's like the Switzerland of the World War. In current scenario, what's happening everywhere, wherever the war is going on, people are running to UAE, and why not? It's the safest country. It's uh, really value for money, and it's fantastic infrastructure, so on and so forth. So this year's UAE's chart is also showing Karka Lagna with Lagnesh, Moon in Taurus in the 11th house. So it's overall net it's going to be good, but there will be correction as far as the property prices are concerned. Okay. New war fronts will open. And as I always say to Modi ji, it's a yuga of war. Forget about it's an era of war. And then, like I always say, big money is made in a bad economy. So those of you who are, facing some losses, etc., don't get too disheartened. There are better days. Just sit down calmly, re-strategize things. Look at your chart, look at your country's chart, and then go back to the drawing board, and then again look back in terms of what you are supposed to do, what you are supposed to plan, and probably that will give you a better understanding. Because see, uh, in Kali Yuga, we are not going to have a perfectly balanced year, right? The very fact that we cried while we were born is a confirmation that we are going to cry, because this is Bhuloka. It is ruled by Mangal, right? And we all will cry, we all will die. The whole logic, or the whole reason of learning Jyotish, or going to a Vedic astrologer, is to get the method to the madness, so to say. And that's the whole point of understanding it. Yeah. So I've given you how to find out and how to do the chart, etc. So a lot of you might be from different countries. I've not done all the countries. So you can do it for your own countries, and share it in the comments in the YouTube. Okay. And share the chart, share the thing. I will look at the comments, and try and give you the answers there. Okay. So as I told you, I'm little down with fever also, but I didn't want to cancel this. I'll stop at this. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Namah Shivaya. I'll see you soon. Bye.